Everybody, and welcome to the Poster Red Podcast, broadcasting from the year 2008. I am one of your hosts,
Why did we
Elijah
go
Elliott,
back so far in time?
That's when the
because
movie
that's
takes
the
place, bruh.
future.
No.
That's the future, Tyler. The future of 2008.
No. No. I don't remember anything great from 2008. Trying to think. What was great in 2008?
Not the economy, I can tell you that much.
Yep, that wasn't good.
Working in the movie theater was kind of great in 2008.
First Iron Man movie and the Incredible Hulk. Come on.
That's true. Iron
The
Man
Dark
1.
Knight. The Dark Knight, the seminal Heath Ledger movie.
I I don't remember those things, Elijah. You know that.
Well, I have the internet at my hand, so that's how I figured it out.
Oh, well, you also know movies better than me.
Sadly, the first Twilight movie came out, so there was some,
See,
there
that's
was some negativity.
the downer. That's the downer right there. That's why I don't remember 2008. The year vampires sparkled.
Oh, and the Crystal Skull. Ugh.
That wasn't too bad.
It's not terrible. The ending is terrible, but and the
So-
second Madagascar, Wall-E.
Wally wasn't bad
this is what
either.
hurt my knee. Oh, 2008 was a terrible year. This is what hurt my knee.
Yeah, he had to be wheelchaired in to watch Batman.
Remember that now. Oh, that was a bad year. Okay, I'm with
Yeah.
you.
Mike
I'm back, I'm back,
sideswiped you.
I'm
You
back.
fell down in the hallway. He came back. He's like, "Give me
Huh.
some ice
Yep.
for Elijah." And I looked at Mike and I'm like, "What am I going to put the ice in, Mike? I've got nothing here to
These
put
bags
ice in."
that we put popcorn in.
Those bags would never have held that ice. They're
They hold ice now. I'd use them now to hold ice.
that surprises me.
For safety, I double them up, but they'd work.
Yeah, but I'm not putting a whole hog's load of ice into it. I'm just enough for a knee.
Yeah, I didn't trust it. I didn't
But
want to be the one
you
that
are-
would put the ice in the bag, and then Eric fell down in the hallway and broke his hip.
That was Big Mike.
Big Mike fell. and
We
broke his
are
hip?
talking Dwayne the Rock Johnson month, and now we moved on to a, well, as IMDb puts it, which I
mess.
was not expecting them to put it. No, they put it as a, in their genre, as a comedy, drama, mystery.
Huh.
You know what's a mystery?
I was like, I thought this was more sci-fi, but okay.
You know what's a mystery?
What?
This movie and how it works.
That is true. But the movie is Southland Tales. Ken?
I'm the bit.
I am the bit. During a 3-day heat wave, just before a huge 4th of July celebration, an action star stricken with amnesia meets up with a porn star who's developing her own reality TV project and a policeman who holds the key to a vast conspiracy.
It's
See,
inaccurate.
yeah, I don't super agree with that. I mean, I agree with the first bits of that, but I don't agree with the last.
Look, we watched the movie. They had to do what they had to do. That's what they got out of it.
Dwayne Johnson as Boxer Santaros. Sarah Michelle Gellar as Krista Kapowski. Sean William Scott as the Traverners. And the cast list on IMDb is ridiculous.
It is. It's dumb. It's dumbly put.
So I have to go scrubbing now.
Mandy Moore as
Yeah,
Matt
Mandy Moore
Cross
as
Santos.
the wife. Christopher Lambert. John Larroquette.
Amy Poehler.
John Lovitz.
Thank you, acting.
That definitely is in my notes.
Yeah, I have him. Oh, look, it's that douchebag.
Amy Poehler is briefly in this movie.
Kevin Smith is briefly in this movie.
Kevin Smith is in this movie for 30 seconds. Will Sasso is in this movie. Wallace Shawn is in this movie. Like, there's people galore. Justin Timberlake. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we almost forgot JT.
We almost forgot JT. And as we were discussing earlier, his second significant acting role.
He's one of the 5 main characters, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is more of an ensemble piece than. Well, actually, it's. I don't know. It's not really an ensemble piece, but it's not really a. I don't know. This movie is. It's tough to classify.
Yeah. That's why I was like sci-fi. That's a good thing for this movie to be. Weird and
Wait
sci-fi.
a second. Christopher Lambert's last name is called Walter Mung, and Amy Poehler is Veronica Mung / Dream. So are they supposed to be related? This movie has layers.
Yeah.
You know what else has layers?
What?
Onions. Onions have layers.
Like, not all of, but 3 out of 4 of the Krista Now's reality TV crew, like her co-stars, are her sisters. If you read the cast list on the IMDb, they all have the same last name. So, but they don't ever say that in the movie. They go by their stage last names.
The guy who got shot on the toilet?
Yeah, there's a guy that gets shot on a toilet. There's a guy that gets shot onto a toilet. It's
yeah,
a
but
comically
Eli
large
Roth is
toilet.
the guy that gets shot on the toilet. Yeah. I was like, Eli Roth?
Oh, I didn't realize that was Eli Roth.
Yeah, that's what the IMDb says. Uncredited man who gets shot on toilet.
Interesting. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of rest of cast listed alphabetically, uncredited.
Movie's got a lot of people in it. That's just all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Now to everybody out there, I tried to pick the main thoughts of this movie, so it might be incomprehensible, but hey, whatever.
If
that's what this movie is.
If you have not seen this movie, I would highly recommend you go watch this movie before you listen to us talk about it, because this movie is hard to follow, and depending on your perspective, doesn't really make any sense to begin with.
Yep.
So listening to us talk about a movie that's hard to follow and doesn't make a lot of sense is gonna be tough. So a lot of times I think we do an acceptable job of like talking you through a movie, but this movie is so layered, and the conspiracy is not necessarily so complex, but there are so many moving parts, and like, well, and I guess the other part of it is it's set on the backdrop of this political campaign. So there are politicians and splinter groups and industrialists and
the Highlander
and everybody knows everybody, and everybody's betraying everybody. It's very strange. It's not very strange, but there's a lot of moving parts. It's a lot to follow.
You know, not everybody likes onions, but parfaits, they also have layers.
Parfaits are delicious.
Parfaits may be the best damn thing in the whole damn planet.
The anniversary of Shrek, Tyler is going to quote Shrek the entire time.
So Tyler watched Shrek, not Southland Tales, huh?
He picked up the wrong Blu-ray. It's like he's like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. There's a green guy and a donkey, and they go to save a princess.
Shrek is life.
So apparently there's nukes in Texas on the 4th of July in 2005, which starts off World War III.
Yes.
And then we travel to the future, quote unquote, of 2008 in LA.
Yeah, well, what happens is you get the framing, like, in order to understand the socio-political climate of the movie, you have to go back and find out what happened and why, and how there's World War III. So,
and then
yeah,
California
the movie opens
is a big
on
swing state apparently.
What was that?
And California is apparently the huge swing state.
Yes, which is probably an simplification for the sake of this movie, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Ken just went through an interdimensional time rift.
He did.
I
He
did?
saw his fourth dimension self.
You-
Don't shake hands. Don't shake hands.
Your microphone did a weird thing for a second. You like fishbowled and unfishbowled. I'm just gonna say that you traveled through time. Don't shake
Okay.
hands.
Shake hands.
Don't. Are you supposed to shake hands or not shake hands? I'm confused.
If you're
I
Sean
forgive
William
you.
Scott, because he's a pimp, and then pimps
forgive
don't
you.
kill themselves.
Pimps don't kill themselves.
Pimps do not commit suicide.
My note near the end of this movie is I'm like, is that supposed to be the moral of this story? Is that pimps don't kill themselves? Because I feel like that's been said a lot these last 20 minutes. Justin Timberlake is our narrator, and he tells us straight up, this is the way the world ends.
Not with a whimper, but with a bang.
The Rock and Buffy are together writing a screenplay. That's a bizarre thing I never thought I'd see.
Is that why she looks so hot?
The Sarah Michelle Gellar is pulling out all the stops to look like a porn star in this movie.
I saw her. I'm like, I should know you from somewhere. That's
But
why.
yeah, that's Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, I didn't watch Buffy to see her slay vampires.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't
me
either, but I
neither.
know that it's Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And it was easier to write Buffy than it was to write anything else that I could write with her name in it.
Krista
The
with a
girl from
Y.
The girl from Cruel Intentions.
Krista now.
Yeah. I then started abbreviating SMG.
Yeah, I wrote her in as SMG at one point because it's like, wait, SMG, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Mindy Moore. Too many names.
I have SMG, SWS, and
Sean William
Rock.
Scott. Yeah, good
Every
call.
time you say SMG, the picture of a gun pops into my brain.
Submachine gun, yeah.
It's in
I didn't
there.
know that was a submachine gun.
Yep.
Um,
Now you learned something.
yes.
And knowing's half the battle.
G.I. Joe! We hear about fluid karma.
That sounds gross. It sounded gross.
Rex from Toy Story and Booger from Revenge of the Nerds have created a new energy source, and they're going to power a blimp with it. Okay.
I saw they said a Zeppelin, and I'm like, there's no way this isn't gonna burst into flames.
Yeah.
What else do you do with a blimp?
Then we're listening to Krista Now's talk show, and they're talking about all this other stuff like bang buses and everything. And then her quote, everyone wishes they were a porn star. And I was like, do they?
Yeah,
I am.
those, like, the Krista now and her cohorts they are interesting in this movie in that they, all of them, to varying degrees, think that they are smarter than they are and think that they are clever, but all they're doing, as we learn ultimately, is being played like fiddles.
Yep.
I prefer to not have myself disease ridden.
Is that why you don't want to be a porn star?
Correct. That's the dirty things that happen are dirty things.
You could get away from most of those dirty things, but
Protection doesn't always solve everything.
brought to you by your local Posterman podcast.
Statement I just said made no sense.
Venice Beach is the neo-Marxist underground. That's where we get this group.
That doesn't surprise
Yeah,
me.
because and going back to like Krista now and her cohorts, they are all involved to varying levels with this neo-Marxist underground. Because it seemed, yeah, because it's unclear how involved Krista is. Because it seems like she's more interested in her own brand than she is really in being political. She's happy to be involved with Boxer Santeros, this very famous, very successful, very well-connected
Mountain of Man.
actor guy.
Is it?
Piece of man candy.
Oh, I forgot to mention he's missing. I didn't write that down. He was missing.
What?
Yes, he disappears for a period of time.
I didn't like. They finally get to like where he actually went missing because it picks up where he's been found, supposedly.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing is like they because of this, because it's this huge, because there's a war on and the Republicans have taken over and yada yada yada. There's this huge there's this the I can't think of a word. But there's this like the United States has turned into this sort of odd surveillance state where there are guys sitting with 50 caliber sniper rifles just watching all the time, and that seems like something that shouldn't really have been allowed, but when you're afraid of domestic terrorists, that's what happens, I guess.
There's state, like, you can't cross into other states without visas.
Is this the Rona?
So they know that Boxer left the state, and they know that he came back into the state of California, but as soon as he comes back into the state, he disappears again. So he's been gone for several days, apparently, and I think you probably can tell what how long he's been gone. They probably do talk about dates. I didn't pay close enough attention to figure all that, to put that whole timeline together.
And the neo-Marxist underground has like two plans going on at the same time. They have the Krista Now doing the sex tape version with the Boxer.
Right.
And they're going to do this other plan with Sean William Scott having to impersonate his quote-unquote brother. You see Sean William Scott for the first time, and his reflection is delayed.
Yes.
I'm like, that's odd.
I was like, that's weird. I hope we explain this later, and I completely forgot about it till you just said it. And now I'm like, man.
Yeah, there absolutely are threads in this movie that kind of get lost.
Yeah, I think that's supposed to signify that he is the fourth dimension of the fourth dimension one.
Yeah, well, yeah, that the implication, yeah, because he's the one that
they take the uniform
went through.
from.
He's the one that took the trip.
Yeah.
Because the Boxer Santeros, the Dwayne John, the Boxer Santeros is the one, like, he doesn't have any memory, and so he's the one that took the trip. Whereas the one that stays behind, or I should say the one that's in the past,
dead.
Yeah, in Boxer's case is dead. Roland Ronald's case is not. He survives. But he's held captive and unconscious for most of the movie.
We hear the movie pitch to some people, and we hear about Jericho Kane, and The Rock goes on a ride along with Sean William Scott.
Right, to research the role of playing a cop.
And Sean William Scott starts trying to, like, break through the amnesia part. And they talk about bathroom stuff, which is weird. Oh no, bathroom talk.
Oh yeah, I haven't gone to the bathroom or taken a leak in 6 days.
6 days. They made the neo-Marxist group tries to make a deal with the family for the sex tape. They don't come to agreement, so now they got to move on to phase 2, which is the Sean William Scott phase, I'm guessing.
Yeah, well, and that's another thing that is unclear. Like, it's unclear what anybody's final or not necessarily what anybody's final objective is, but the neo-Marxists are like, yeah, this will kill the election. But I'm like, why does Boxer cheating on his wife, who is the daughter of the senator who's running for president, why does his infidelity wreck Bobby's, Robert Frost's chances of becoming president? Like, I don't understand why
I don't know.
that
maybe
is.
It's because he's playing this like as his like. I don't know. Maybe that's stuff that was cut, that they were like, oh, like he's supposed to be this like puritanical, like, oh, I'm so pure, like all American. My family is married to this, that, and these and those, and we're just white collar. I don't know. It's one of those things.
Yeah, but still, like, I don't think that would necessarily. I get maybe, although I guess if the margins are razor thin and California is too close to call, if it costs you any votes at all, it's too costly. Like it would, if it costs you California, it costs you the election, and you can't have that, and you don't want that. So maybe that's.
Maybe it's just getting like a couple votes on the other side to be like, okay, switch.
Right.
That's also not very well explained.
Not a lot is very well explained.
This movie does not hand you a lot.
I'm gonna sum up this movie in a few words. Tyler was confused.
Tyler was confused at Bolt. So
I was not. There's no door that I know that can keep out Bolt and Rhino.
There is an alternate version that is 160 minutes.
I'm not watching that.
Holy biscuits! Another 15 minutes.
Nope, I barely made it through the original length.
And they cut out some stuff and add some stuff. So
interesting.
That's on the Blu-ray that Tyler currently has that I gave him.
I have no interest.
The police arrive at the neo-Marxist place, and they are told to shoot at will. The guy wakes up the other.
Well, this is what are they? They're not the police anymore. They're all UPU 2 now. What is? I forget. Urban Pacification Unit.
Yeah, the U.S. ident people.
What happened to UPU 1?
I don't know. It's unclear.
He's shot on the toilet.
Oh.
He pooed one.
He pooed one. I thought poo was number 2.
I know I wrote it down. Where did it go?
Maybe that's why they use the number 2, because UPU 2.
I also really enjoy how they call things like Prop 69.
Because everybody poops, UPU 2. It's in a book.
Yeah, urban pacification units.
Well, they're told to shoot at will.
Poor Will.
They kill a guy on the toilet.
Was it Will?
Yeah,
Will is shot.
Poor Will. He always gets shot at, and nobody will. And it's very rarely is it justified.
They wake up the other Sean William Scott. He gets free, and lays in a trash can for a while.
He didn't lay in it. He fell in it.
They go. The Rock and Sean William Scott, the other Sean William Scott, go to lunch. They have a talk. The Rock then sees the scientist people in a bookstore, and they like.
Yeah, hey guys, remember bookstores?
Great things in 2008.
Yeah. Hey, look, a bookstore. Remember those?
They don't exist no more?
Not like that.
But they're not like
I shouldn't say that. They do. Just not. They're not as prolific as they're not as ubiquitous
not
as they once were.
Because people are like, "What are books?"
I like books.
So they find out that the scientists have his script.
How did you get my screenplay?
How did you get that?
Yeah, because they have everything. Because you probably typed it on a computer, dum. The neo-Marxist group decides to stage, quote unquote, a domestic violence situation. Amy Poehler and
right,
husband.
and the idea is to make the UPU look like they're racist, which also like that doesn't. I guess that would make sense. There again, support for the UPU is down, so support for the Republicans are down. So up with the liberals. So let's vote. Let's vote for the blue guys, not the red guys.
And the Rock was involved in the murder, so that's the other thing that they were like.
Well, he was the cameraman. He wasn't involved.
Yeah, but he was there, and he didn't report it or anything. So.
Right. Well, that was because things go sideways. Because
what's
his name shows up.
I love
John Lovitz.
I love the weird thing The Rock does when he's like nervous. He's like tapping his fingers
like
together.
every time he sees a weapon, he's just like, yeah. His eyes get huge. He's like,
it's like
he twiddles his thumb.
Like
he's like Mr. Burns.
It's so funny because he's like this big, intimidating dude looking just completely fucking terrified.
Yeah, there again, to The Rock's credit, like, as early as this movie, Dwayne Johnson is showing some subtle acting chops that would maybe be, would be surprising to folks who were still very much thinking of him as a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
You know, known for subtlety, those guys are not.
Go to wrestlers. Did you see the trailer for Suicide Squad?
I did watch. I watched the Red Band on the YouTubes.
I've not watched it.
John Cena as Peacemaker seems like a great pick. Why are we going after some clown? If this beach was Idris Elba tells him to go eat a bag of dicks, to go eat the beach.
If this beach were covered in dicks, and someone told me to eat them for liberty, I would do it gladly, or something like that.
Yeah, it's along those lines, and it's just so his delivery on that is great. I'm like, oh, Peacemaker, I can't wait for the show on HBO with you.
Yep, I watch it, only to be disappointed again.
It looks a lot of fun, Tyler. With the new director that had carte blanche, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's James Gunn writing and directing. It should be all right. It might not be like the best thing ever, but it should be watchable.
Is there a Joker that's got like blinged
no
out
Joker?
Oh, thank God.
No Joker.
The bad guy's the back of the big baddie Starro. Starro the Conqueror is the big bad guy. Can't wait.
Don't know who that is.
Yeah, me neither.
You know who Shuma Gorath is?
Nope.
Yes.
He kind of looks like that, but purple.
Oh, like Thanos.
He's one of my favorite.
Thanos is purple.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2 characters.
John Lovitz. Oh, they actually shot him. I love how the guy then jettisons the blood packs.
I was like, he's not noticing that he's shooting them, and then suddenly their stomachs are exploding nowhere near where he shot them.
Yeah, well, what we
then we learned
at the time is that he was in on it. Yeah.
Then we learned he was in on it, and I'm like,
Sean William Scott Bolt's leaving The Rock alone,
twiddling his fingers.
Split up. Yep, twiddling his fingers and staring at him and whispering something.
I have no idea what the fuck he said.
No one knows what he says. He's just like.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was just like random, because there was no subtitles or anything for it.
And then we get to a weird scene that I just call, did I just watch a car have sex?
Yep.
I had totally forgotten about the graphic CGI car sex ad thing.
So I've had
forgotten about that.
My door open this morning as I watched this, and if anybody walked by outside, all they would have heard was me screaming, "What the fuck is this?" What am I watching?
Is that car having sex with that other car?
I was like, I could no. I don't want to watch that again. Weird things happened in this movie.
Very weird things happen in this movie.
Weird things happen in nowhere, and it's up to Courage to save his new home. I'm sorry.
It's up to Courage to save his new home. That was great. No, loved it. Keep it all in. Good times.
Back to our task at hand.
Sean William Scott gets kidnapped again by the guy in the ice cream truck this time.
That dude had a terrible few days.
Here, I have a note that says, that's like 5 notes away from this, and I was like, wait a minute. And then I said, my note for like 5 lines down is, I just figured out that guy is Highlander.
There can only be one.
Yeah, then I was like,
one.
oh my god, but did they just put him in this movie because there can only be one Sean William Scott? Were they like, the plot of this movie is that there can only be one of them two in existence, and we're like, let's get the Highlander, because I'm sure he'll do this for like $20 and a sandwich.
I like a good sandwich. What's your favorite sandwich? Do you have a favorite sandwich?
So The Rock shows up. The Rock shows up at the family party.
Is the hot dog a sandwich?
It is. It is most definitely a sandwich. It is not my favorite sandwich.
It's not my favorite sandwich
favorite
either,
sandwich?
but
I think it would have to be grilled cheese sandwiches are my favorite. Like, some people really like a Reuben, but I'm a simple guy. I just
I don't
like
like
grilled
Reubens.
cheese.
So Reubens have Reubens have onions, don't they?
Well, you can't eat onions because you're weird. But
Reuben's sauerkraut.
Oh yeah, they have that gross stuff. Yeah, can't eat that either. Favorite sandwich? Something with turkey in it, probably.
something with turkey. Ken, you got a favorite sandwich?
I don't know if I have a favorite sandwich. No, favorite sandwich. A good, hot, open face, either roast beef or turkey sandwich.
Ooh, that sounds good. Yeah. Hey,
I like that. I like that, Ken. I like it. Are we done with the sandwiches now?
yes, we're done with the sandwiches. This was Sandwich Talk, brought to you by me, Tyler.
Beep 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 beep. Let's go back to talking about Courage the Cowardly Dog. So The Rock attends the family party after he starts to piece together who the hell he is. And look, it's Mandy Moore. John Lovitz was in on the entire thing. The Rock.
John Lovitz acting. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm a douchebag. Thank you.
And I love it.
And I love it. The Rock defends Sarah Michelle Gellar for being in porn and being an entrepreneur and so on and so forth.
She's trying to reform her image and her brand. She
yeah.
I mean, give her
She
a
said
break.
cock
She was...
chuggers too. That's what I have written down. I love how they don't pick like cock chugger. They have cock chugger 2.
Well, she probably wasn't in the first one. She was only in the second.
I know, but it's just hilarious. I love that it just is like, and here we are in cock chuggers 2.
Aside from the porn stuff, I feel like her trying to get out and make a name for herself and do her own thing that's a feat worth applauding. Good job.
It is. It's definitely.
I agree.
It is. I agree. I'm not going to applaud, but then the guy asked bluntly, "Are you Deep Throat 2?" And she says, "No, I'm not in that movie." I thought that was my favorite line of the movie.
I wasn't in that one.
Mandy Moore seems kind of like a drunk. She's pregnant. And then I was like, "Oh, we got a soap opera scene going on, and it's super great." No, she's pregnant with Randy's baby.
And I have the blood tests to prove it.
He's having sex with the butler.
Not the butler.
He knows that who's Deep Throat 2 is.
With two T's.
I was like, this is great. I love this entire soap opera scene.
Elijah, I made a Lego Batman reference, and you didn't get it.
I watched Lego Batman once, and I was with my niece.
Who did I watch Lego Batman with?
Not me. I've never seen it.
You watched it that late night. I didn't stay for the whole thing.
Well, I'm going to make us watch Lego Batman.
Okay. I own it. Oh, Kevin Smith!
I thought I saw him, and then I didn't see him.
Yeah, he's barely in the movie. He's like 2 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
He's in that scene.
Sounds like him more than it looks like him.
Yeah. They really make up him up.
Yeah, because he plays like this guy in his mid-50s. You know, so he's got this long, like, white gray beard.
Yeah, I was like, Kevin Smith? No. Let's Kevin Smith? No.
Scientist people go to meet some Asian businessman, and they're like, "Oh, we're just gonna take a finger," and then they cut the whole hand off, which is just not really. I was like, "Why is this scene here?" But okay.
It's character development for characters that we already know are kind of awful and off there and out of their minds. So it was that sequence was largely unnecessary to me.
All kinds of things were unnecessary in this movie.
You're not wrong, Tyler.
Oh yeah.
Because we already talked about the weird CGI car sex scene thing. So
Yep.
Yeah, that was long too.
So I got to this part in the movie, and I'm like, we've got to be reaching in on like a point, an ending. Something's gonna happen soon. And then I looked at the time.
Yeah, it was
And I was
like
sad.
about another hour at this point. Yeah.
Yep, I was very sad. I looked at stickers and I said, "Stickers, we're never getting our morning back."
The ending of this movie lingers and lingers and lingers, like it's over and then it's over and then it's over and then it's let's stretch this out for as long as we can manage. Like
Well, there's like two.
It
There's like
was like
two
that.
endings, and then you're like, okay.
It's like that relative that like you don't really associate with because they're kind of weird and they never leave on time. They just kind of hang out forever, and you're like, man, I wish this person would just go home, and they don't. You guys don't have one of those.
Justin Timberlake is selling. What?
You don't have one of those.
I have lots of those.
Oh, okay.
I have lots.
I don't know
of those.
about
I'm
lots,
one of those,
but
probably. Justin Timberlake is selling the fluid karma as a drug.
yeah, and that's another thing. That's another like subplot of this movie where there's fluid karma. That's an actual fluid. It's an actual like hallucinogenic narcotic drug thing that is being pushed around, but it's also like the energy field, and it might be slowing the planet down, which is causing weird rifts in the space-time continuum and quantum entanglement and other weird like sci-fi mumbo jumbo weirdness. This movie is just
It's so.
it's
bizarre.
strange.
Uh-huh.
I didn't find it good.
Hey, save that.
Hey, right.
I
Yeah,
do what I want.
God, Tyler.
I'm gonna tear down this establishment piece by piece.
Sarah Michelle Gellar takes the tape of the shooting without knowing, and wants to get it on the air, thinking it's her sex tape, to be like, everybody should know it's fine. The Rock then now discovers by the lady on the beach that the Rock must get to the Mega Zeppelin. But don't worry, everybody. If you don't think this woman is equally strange, he now forces her to take off his pants and to let her suck his dick.
I got excited. I
Which
thought
does
I was
not
gonna see
happen,
Rock's penis
everybody.
for a second.
See the Rock's rock?
Yeah, I got really excited. I'm like, oh man, dreams do come true. And nope, no dreams, no truth.
See the real
Only
people.
sadness.
See the real people's elbow.
Oh god, it even flexes and has a muscle.
It's down there just lifting weights. It's like, what's up?
They call me the Stone. I'm attached to the Rock.
Stone. They call me the Stone. Tyler, you're on fire. We should do these in 10. We should do these
I'm
in
on
10
fire?
all the time.
I'm
You're on
burning
fire.
up.
Courage the Cowardly Dog references. The Stone. Come on.
I made a Shrek reference also, but you didn't acknowledge that one.
Yeah, that one wasn't as good.
Oh, I thought it was. And we talked about sandwiches.
We did talk about sandwiches. That ranks third so far. The Stone and Courage the Cowardly Dog are currently winning in my head. Oh yay, everybody! John Lovitz is dead. Thank God, I'm so happy, and so is that other chick.
That other lady over there. with the
It was
weird-
Zora.
it was the other Marxist lady that was selling drugs and had
Yeah.
tapes and actually had Amy Poehler killed, and I was like, why?
Yeah, see, she's a character who's like, what's her motivation? You know, because she's the one that brought, John Lovitz in on the deal, but we don't know to what end. Like, it's unclear why she was as extreme as she was being. Aside from the fact that she didn't feel like things were going far enough. Like, it's never clear why she's doing the things that she's doing.
So the Rock gets what he wants by being kidnapped again by the Baron's lackeys this time. And it's all going to end tonight, he says as he wakes up and tells Mandy Moore. And then Mandy Moore asks the question, how does the world end? The world ends in a handshake. I said, way to spoil the movie, Rock. And then I said, famous last words. The Rock says, I'm not going to die. So we're on the Mega Zeppelin, and it takes off, and that part's just long, so I don't really have a lot of notes on that. Until Kevin Smith is going to shoot the Rock.
Kevin Smith. I was so happy, but couldn't really remember if it was Kevin Smith or not every time I saw him. I'm like, you look like, you sound like, but you don't also look like at the same time.
Hello, Mr. Boxer. Now sit your ass down. And let's talk sedative dream theory. Apparently, now here's where it gets super sci-fi. There was a rift in the fourth dimension that these people were checking out. So they decide...
And then Buckaroo Banzai came out.
from the eighth dimension and was like, hey, fellas, there's 4 more dimensions that way.
Not to mention, don't let the flies get in there.
Yeah. You can't put apes in there. because they're not human. Apparently, they
Only
the
soul,
human soul.
the soul of the monkey can't withstand the pressures, the timeshare. I forget exactly what they say.
I kind of laughed at it at one point because I was like, "This is a made-up, making fun of a stupid-ass script from somewhere, kind of thing," where you're like, "But they're using it."
It's very much like, yeah, you're right. Like it's very much, we're throwing around some sci-fi buzzwords in sort of kind of correct context maybe, but nobody really understands this stuff anyway, so it doesn't really matter, and it doesn't, but at the same time it doesn't help this make sense at all, which it doesn't anyway. Yeah. But and the question, like, the question of, is that like sort of clever satirical writing, is it supposed to be a joke, all of that is a little bit unclear. I think, like, to watch this movie, it would be interesting to go back and sort of take a look at this movie as a bit of, and there are absolutely satirical elements in this movie, but to lean into this movie to be and watch it as a work of satire / dark comedy would be could be insightful.
It is labeled as comedy, so it could be just like this is all supposed to be satirical. Apparently, before the rock went through the fourth dimension rift, another rock appeared in the desert.
Right, because what happens when you go through the rift is you go 69 minutes into the past. So before you ever go through the rift, you show up in the past with no memory.
Their main question is, why did the truck blow up? Because they think that the rock committed suicide. And then the first line this is the first time we hear this line, "Pimps don't commit suicide."
I don't understand that line at all.
Makes no sense until the rock winks at the camera.
Abe.
And I'm like, oh, the rock is winking at me. That's fine.
The rock is a pimp.
Because the rock is declaring himself a pimp.
Boxer Santaros is a pimp, and pimps do not commit suicide.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, so somebody else.
What makes him a pimp is unclear.
Because there's a dead body of the rock on the table. So he's not the cause of the end of the world. But who is? Of course we don't process it's the driver.
Right,
until
Boxer figures that out. Or I should say, he figures out that there had to have been somebody else involved.
We find out that Sean William Scott is the one that shot Justin Timberlake.
Yes,
it was a hand grenade. We then find out from the bimbo lady. That's what I have it referred to as in my notes.
The bimbo
that just
lady
is there with the scientist guys. Yeah,
Serpentine.
Tells them that she's the one that blew the truck up. Yeah,
Serpentine.
She's the one that blew the truck up. That the driver made it out. She knew the driver made it, so she knows there's two Sean William Scotts. And then she says, "What happens if they shake hands?" And after she tries to seduce the Rock, which is, I was like, okay, all right, movie. Everybody wants the Rock. I get it.
At that point, The Rock is like, I should say, Boxer is like in full-on alpha, like sex god mode. So like all the women want him, all of them. He's like oozing the "come do me" pheromones. So so he has no problems,
especially in the
getting
next scene.
Any action from anybody that he wants.
We find out that if the two Sean William Scott shake hands, the fourth dimension will collapse on itself, and all of humanity is gone.
And mumbo jumbo and bloody blue, and it's fine.
Sciencey stuff, simplistic. The world ends. We got back to Sean William Scott, and then the ice cream truck that Sean William Scott's in with the Highlander crashes. The Highlander tells the kid that he has to, because the other Sean William Scotts were riding around with this kid from Justin Timberlake's story.
Right.
That he has to shoot down something with the rocket launcher that was early on in the movie, the script told about.
Surface to air missile.
Oh, that's
You got to shoot down the Zeppelin.
Yeah, so we find out he has to shoot down the Zeppelin. But how is the question? Sean William Scott's shake hands. And then the ice cream truck lifts off. And the kid's on top of it.
Both Sean William Scotts get wounded. The one gets shot in the eye. And surprisingly he survives, which is weird, but all right. And the other one gets shot in his leg as he's going over to find or I shouldn't say to find, but to check on the other, who he still thinks is his brother at this point.
Yeah.
He doesn't realize that they're the same person.
No. They only figure that out, I believe, when they shake hands, and then they're like, "Oh no."
Yeah, and well, like, yeah, it's unclear. Well, no, because the original Sean William Scott knows, because he has all the memories, so he knows that there's, or maybe not he knows, but he at least knows that he doesn't have a twin brother.
I'm confused. Which one was the original?
The original's the guy that was tied up in the ice cream truck.
Yes.
Okay.
The one that doesn't do much in the movie, because if he starts doing stuff, he'll say that he was helping. Like, if he starts to remember, like, if he starts to be more mobile and help out and talk to people, you'll discover that he's actually knows more than he's like, I went through a time rift. Hey, there's another me. Don't let me meet the other me, or something like that.
Gotcha.
USI Denton is taken over, and then we get a weird dance sequence with The Rock and Sarah Michelle Gellar and Mandy Moore, where yes, your description of The Rock's pheromones are in full work is all there.
Yep.
Come to me, women.
And then The Rock threatens to shoot himself if everyone doesn't evacuate the blimp.
But he doesn't kill himself. Yes, but he doesn't kill himself.
He threatens to kill himself
because he's a pimp.
Yeah, he threatens to kill himself.
Right.
But they don't have time to figure that out because the kid shoots the blimp down, and I'm assuming all those people die in that. Before we reach the pinnacle of the movie, where yet again we get the line, "Pimps don't commit suicide," because Sean William Scott apologizes to Sean William Scott about hurting Justin Timberlake, and says
which he feels really guilty about.
Yeah,
justifiably so.
Oh yeah, anybody would. And so he does not kill himself, and I guess everything is destroyed, and that's how the movie ends.
Yep. And there was a good chunk of my time never to be had back again.
I guess we should go to Robot Punches because we discussed a bunch of that during.
It's time for Robot Punches. Gonna do the Robot Punches now. I'm gonna go first.
Okay, you can go first.
Was that okay, Elijah?
Go right ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a 1.25. Maybe watching it really early in the morning wasn't a good idea. But
so I watched it yesterday.
Yeah. Whew. I'm not getting my time back from watching this movie. I did not understand a thing that was happening for most of the movie. I multiple times asked myself, what am I watching? The Rock was great. That gives it a 1. Rock was really good. And a couple things that made me giggle and laugh. Got the 0.25.
Tyler gave it a 1 for the car sex scene. He's like, yeah.
Nope.
He's keeping my Blu-ray because he's fantasizing about that.
That lost.
He's gonna get that
all 3.75 Robot Punches. Never again do I want to see a car turn its back wheel sideways and mount another car,
or its tailpipe graphically turn into a vagina.
It's like,
or the other tailpipe graphically turn into a penis.
Yeah, neither of that I want to see ever again. So who's next?
Do you want to go, Ken?
I can. This movie is very strange, and it's kind of interesting, and I think I like it. 3.25.
High scores there.
Yeah, I mean the like it's, and as we've kind of been dancing around a little bit, like what like the uneven tone of this movie is. Well, I guess the tone of this movie is uneven, I guess is the statement, and you know, you can like that or you can not like it. It's up to you. I don't know. It's just like I said. I think this movie is interesting, and I think that I think it's absolutely worth watching. I don't know that I could talk Tyler into watching it again, but I think it benefits from a rewatch. Like once you watch it once, it's like, oh, this is a strange movie that's kind of hard to follow. Okay, I'm going to watch it again and just try and follow this one thread, or just try and get a better feel for what's going on, or now that I know where it ends up, try and see all the, you know, the varying wheels within wheels and overlapping things and motivations and all of that to try and figure out. Like I said, this movie has depth. This movie is deeper than it gets credit for, or maybe it's not deeper than it gets credit for, but it has some depth that is unexpected. I feel personally.
Some news for it before I go in. Richard Kelly is the director and writer of this movie.
Right.
Now he does weird movies. He's
Yes.
the guy who did Donnie Darko.
Right.
For example. So I haven't seen Donnie Darko. I know it's weird.
Me neither. We should do that at some point.
Yeah.
Actually, Elijah, you and I should
fair-
get together and watch that movie at some point. Whether we do the podcast on it or not is.
We should make Tyler watch it too. What?
Well, we have to do
What, Tyler? Speak.
We have to do our punish me with soda tasting adventure at some point.
Yeah, I need more details on that, Tyler. Your text messages have been unintelligible to me. So.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't text message.
But I feel like we should probably talk about that off air.
But yeah, we could watch it then. But yeah, so.
Donnie Darko is available streaming on Prime if anybody's curious. Free with ads.
The interesting thing about this movie, from like a trivia perspective, is Richard Kelly consciously sought out actors that he felt had been pigeonholed and wanted to showcase their undiscovered talents, which is why he picked Kevin Smith, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Sean William Scott, The Rock.
Interesting.
He picked these people that he thought had undiscovered talent in their acting stuff.
Oh my gosh! And at least in the case of The Rock, he was quite prescient.
Oh yeah. Like The Rock he pulls it off, and it's movies like this that gave The Rock a chance.
It's right, and you know he's credited as Dwayne Johnson in this movie. But yeah, so this is and this is absolutely a movie where he is given every opportunity to shine, to show that he can act.
He did a great job.
And yeah, absolutely. I think yes, his performance in this movie is, in a movie full of like weird, unintelligible, hard to understand things. His performance is, well, as we kind of discussed, there's some subtlety to it. It's interesting.
But yeah, everybody in this movie acts great. It definitely does the job of showing off these people's talents. Like Buffy, like they wanted Sarah Michelle Gellar to get out of Buffy shadow. Sean William Scott is not Stifler. Justin Timberlake is not the pop idol.
Right.
And The Rock is not the frightening, intimidating boxer. He's a kind of wimpy actor.
Oh, interestingly enough, this movie came out after both The Rundown and Be Cool.
Yeah, so he's not very action heavy. He's not.
Where the like Be Cool, like Dwayne Johnson in that movie is strange. He's the sort of weird comic relief character. And in The Rundown, he plays a surprisingly deep, granted, still like big action, physical guy, but he's got surprising depth in that movie, and his performance is really good. So it's interesting that the director for this movie wanted Dwayne Johnson for this role. And I guess this movie leads, or not leads to, but sort of furthers what is probably Dwayne Johnson's own objective of becoming a more serious, maybe not like actor, but
rounded actor. Like he can do anything that you like. It made like it gave him like an opportunity to be like, I'm not just an action movie star. I could do the kids movies. I can do
that's the other thing. Like his next significant movie after this, it was Gridiron Gang, and then Game Plan, and then Get Smart. So and then Race to Witch Mountain. So he does like, well, I'm not sure what Gridiron Gang is.
It's a real true story drama football movie.
Okay, so he does straight drama, and then he does kid movie, comedy, kid movie. And then he does Planet 51, where he's a voice actor. And then he does Tooth Fairy, another kid movie.
Yep.
So he was trying really hard. Or I should say this movie is or I would argue that maybe Be Cool is the beginning of it, but
he's trying out
what is obviously a concerted effort to be something other than the big bang bang shoot 'em up macho action guy.
The other fun fact is, now we didn't discuss in the notes. There were title cards that said Part 4, 5, and 6.
Right.
There is a prequel graphic
novel, right,
that the director wrote that has the first 3 parts.
Yep, I don't feel like reading that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just vocalizing it for.
And that's part of that is why some of the the opening framing sequence, it looks like stills from it looks like sort of like a motion comic, or it looks like stills from a comic book, because I think those images are lifted from the prequel comic.
And the last thing that I have to say is, in 2021, Richard Kelly announced there are developments to expand the film into a franchise.
This
year, he announced that there are developments to expand the franchise. Yes.
This movie.
Interesting.
I don't know. Somebody stop him.
I think this movie, the performances are great. It is weird. Like, I remembered thinking it was more straightforward in my memory. Like, I was like, it's weird, but I'm like, okay, we're all trying to stop Sean William Scott from meeting the other Sean William Scott. But that's not the main point of the movie, because nobody really tries to stop them. It's weird, and I think it has. I think you're definitely right. It has layers to it that I would like to explore, and I might watch the director's cut.
Ogres have layers.
Like ogres, like onions, like Courage the Cowardly Dog, like sandwiches.
Sandwiches do have layers.
It's a hot dog.
You got your bread, you got your dog, then you got your condiments on top. Those are all layers. They're not all one thing at the same time.
Good. No one likes a lot of condiments on a hot dog. I don't.
Ooh, I do.
I give this movie a 3. Like, it's very solid. But I think he could have. Like, the way this movie was, this version I watched, you could probably cut some stuff out because it doesn't pay off. So I'm hoping that when I watch the other version, that might pay some of that off, and that I won't feel like I feel about it. Which is, I think we could cut some stuff. That's my only stance, is that I felt like it was long. Like, the pacing was just a little off because some of those things I was like, I don't care about this. Like, I know you're not a main character, so you're probably going to die, so stop talking to me. But yeah, that's my stance on Southland Tales. And I think it should be classified as sci-fi, not comedy, drama, mystery.
I agree. Like, sci-fi, comedy, drama, I would be okay with. Mystery, less so.
Yep. Tyler, where are we at?
That's all we have time for, fellas. Catch us next time when
we do the game plan.
When we do the game plan.
I gotta get Tyler that DVD.
That's available on
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. Okay.
Not the Hulus.
The Hulus. Disney Plus. While you're getting the DVD. I at least believe it's on Disney Plus. I will double check.
Let me check. Yeah, Disney Plus. Disney Plus not showing up.
Yep.
So yeah, it's available on Disney Plus.
But yeah, you'll get the DVD, Tyler. Whereas Southland Tales, everybody, you had to either buy the Blu-ray or DVD or rent it on any of your rentable streaming services.
Ah.
But yeah, next week we should hopefully all be together, and we won't be on Discord this time.
It'll be a good time. Come again? Yep. A lot of that came through.
What?
There you go.
Yay!
Now you're roboting. I think that's all we have for today, folks. Have a good day. Goodbye.
I gotta say some stuff.
Oh. Well, get to it.
Don't you know what we do?
Do?
We do things?
We traditionally follow a pattern where we have to read the website in garbage.
I don't remember this.
Oh! Here's a
This is
don't
the
get too
podcast.
excited.
It never
everybody.
ends.
We got it. We got an email.
We got an email.
Don't get too
Yeah.
excited.
As stated, don't get too excited. I
Are we
just
being
really wanted
canceled?
to read it because it was funny.
Are we being canceled?
Um,
Did they tell them? Did they tell us
It's
they
from-
hate me?
It's from Osman Apredento. I am Maureen Hinkle, and my foundation is donating 550,000 USD to you. Contact us via my email. So, guys, we're gonna be rich.
Sweet.
Hinkle is Einhorn. Einhorn is Hinkle.
Einhorn is Hinkle.
Well, thank you for that tidbit of information, Elijah. That was very enlightening. We can all quit our
You're-
jobs now and live
You all
happily
send us email.
ever after.
You now can all send us emails like that to thepostermanpodcast@gmail.com. Check out our website at www.thepostermanpodcast.com. Find us on Twitter @thepostermanpod. Check us out on Instagram @thepostermanpodcast. Find us on Facebook @thepostermanpodcast. Check us out on YouTube by searching The Posterman Podcast. You'll find some very fun stuff that Tyler's been doing with the YouTubes. Find us on Letterboxd. Just search The Posterman Pod. You'll find my many reviews about movies that I've watched. Just like yesterday where I watched Xanadu and The Cube. So you can see those online. And my thoughts on Promising Young Woman. And I think that's all we have.
Well, that's all we have for today, fellas. Catch us next time when we watch. I already forgot the movie.
The
The
game
game
plan.
plan.
The game plan.
You're like a fish. You are like a fish. If I had a goldfish, it would be named Tyler.